Okay, first method is to actually derive two different IS and discuss their slope. Okay, so we will do this. You can get the answer from my outline, or you can look at your lecture notes. So you have to show the derivation of IS with lump sum tax, then the other with proportional tax. Okay, and then you have to therefore draw the diagram. This is the IS curve when tax is lump sum. It should be flatter. Okay, then IS2 would be the one where you have proportional tax. It is steeper. My line is a bit too steep, but never mind. Okay, so I put in interest rates. If you are drawing, you should go somewhere in the middle. I drew a little bit too left, but it doesn't matter. Okay? Okay. Draw a new set, or else you cannot see. So it should be like this. Point A, I1, IS2. So I did another setup because I think it's space to show. So you should show interest rates goes up. Right? Because you want to discuss investment drop. So you have to analyze effects of interest rate going up. So if it is on the flatter IS, income drops to Y2. Interest rate goes up, cost of borrowing increase, right? Firms cut back investment. So you see carefully, this is where investment drops. Okay, so you travel along A to B. But if now with the same increase in interest rate and you are traveling on IS2, you will go to this point. Y3 instead. Okay? So therefore you observe Y3 is actually larger than Y2. So change in income is smaller for case of T11. So the question says, right, a fall in desired investment has a larger effect on income when there is proportional tax. But you have discussed with respect to IS to show that it was otherwise. Right, now, this is not a good exam answer. You will get about 3 marks because you answered the question. But you didn't explain why. All you did was you said the slope says so. So a good exam answer is to highlight because as income drops, T1Y drops. Right? Household actually pays lesser proportional tax and therefore drop in C is smaller. And that is the economic intuition. Okay? And this is not easy. That's why examiner, you use this kind of question to elicit the good students. Okay, so there should be a drop in investment, but it was partially offset by the proportional tax. Right? Okay, so income drop, consumption should drop. But at the same time, you also pay lesser income tax. The drop in C is smaller. Right? So as you go through, as you do more exam questions when you practice, always tell yourself the answer cannot be because the diagram say y3 is bigger than y2. Cannot be because I draw it flatter, that's why this is my answer. There must always be economic intuition. So in this case, the statement is false. Right? Read the question again. A fall in desired investment, which I showed, movement along IS, has a greater impact on income when the economy faces income tax. But you already showed. Right? If you have income tax, the income change is smaller. So that is method 1, which is a bit tedious because you've got to draw, should I say, derive 2 sets of IS, draw the IS function, and then depict the question inside. Okay, so there's actually a second method to this question, which is multiplier. Simply discuss multiplier with you. You don't have to draw. Okay, you don't really have to draw. So method 2. So all you need to do is to derive multiplier when t is t bar and t is t1. Okay, for this, the multiplier is simply only 1 over 1 minus C1 minus B1. Okay, the rest, this case, the multiplier this multiplier on the left would be larger. So you have to do the mathematical approach. Alright, find your AE, find your equilibrium income, find the multiplier for both cases. So it's similar to method 1. Method 1 was on IS function and the IS slope. This would be only just on the multiplier. Okay, and then from there, analyze. This is a standard analysis, right? That if you are discussing I bar, the AE will shift down, income will drop, right? And if now, okay, T is T1Y, you have a smaller multiplier. This means the change in income is smaller. But the analysis is the same because individuals pay lesser income tax because income drops. So 4 in C is smaller. So the second method, you don't need to draw, right? Don't bother to draw. But what you need to discuss is simply just the multiplier. So this is a standard process. This is the goods market. Investment drop, you will go through one round of goods market first. But when income drop, the multiplier will set in. So if now you have T1Y, the multiplier is smaller. Right, so income drop will be smaller. Okay, so what is the intuition? Income drop, consumption should drop. But at the same time, individual also pay lesser income tax. So the drop in C is smaller. So both methods ended with the same, economic intuition. It will point back at consumption because T1Y appears in the consumption function. It affects, right, the level of consumption among individuals. So most students will prefer method 2 because it's less tedious. Right? And you zoom in simply just on the multiplier and you don't really have to draw the AE. If you do attempt to draw the AE, it's very tricky, so we don't. But what the examiner wants to see from students is careful planning of answers. That you must discuss investment drop. You cannot end your answer with multiplier or slope of IS. Okay, right? So if you ask me, if this question comes up for exam, I probably reserve it as my last question. If I have other questions that I can choose, I will do this. This is quite tedious. You must be very accurate. You must know how to explain drop in income very well, which is always not our cup of tea. We are always very good to do things right. Words income increase, spend more, then pay more tax. Consumption increase, smaller. We can do to the right side. But to go to the left side, it's very difficult. Right? Okay, so that was actually question 7. So it's very subtle. If you read through, there were no signs that they were actually IS or the multiplier. Right? So therefore you have to quickly recall what was the entire topic about. The entire discussion was goods market because it's investment, output, access. So it should not be IS with LM. You literally don't need the LM. Okay, so with that, now let's look at question 4. Again, looks very simple, but one of examiner's pet question. Right, because students make a lot of mistakes. Look at question 4. They may really mention ISLM model. So this one you can't run away. You definitely use ISLM function. Okay, predicts that an equal increase in G and taxes will have no effect on private savings. Right, so we read the question. So the moment I see ISLM model, I know I need to shift IS or LM. So when I read the question, I will have a sense of what I'm going to do. So the moment the examiner says use the model, even when you look at section B later on, you know ultimately you have to shift one of the curves. So if you don't shift them, then something is wrong. Because if not, you cannot discuss the impact on the economy. Right? Then you see whether it's IS or LM, so you check. The question says there was an increase in G.